We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. If you want to support this college football rebel outpost YouTube channel with a donation, just hit the $, make a comment, and I'll get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody, one and all, even the evil Badgers, even those wickedly evil Hawkeyes and everybody else. Welcome into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to be a legend. Do not be afraid to be a legend. With your comments in the chat room, with your phone calls later in the show. Welcome everybody. It's going to be a show of just two subjects. We're going to be talking about this settlement. Yes, we're going to have to talk about it. It's Friday, the end of the week. It's done, deal, signed, and delivered. It's going to become official 5 to 8 months from now. But basically, it's done. But what is done exactly? The lawyers don't agree on X. The lawyers don't agree. Special advocates for all these different sides of the story, of course, they don't agree. The national writers who are writing this story, all their sources, none of them agree. What exactly is going on? Is this settlement, the House versus NCAA, is this going to protect and grow the game we love, college football? I don't know. I have some doubts. And I haven't made that a secret. So we're going to go through some of it. I'm going to give you my impression of what it's going to look like. I have talked with two people. One of them, not usually a source in regards to cloak and dagger information that I give you. One is actually worked in the college football sphere of recruitment. I'm going to give you what I think. I'm going to give you a vision. I'm going to paint a picture. Picasso Flugar is going to paint you a picture of what I think, what we believe it's going to look like. Could be wrong, but Picasso Flugar is going to be doing some painting today, May 24th. First of all, we're going to give you an update on the story of yesterday, where the Florida State Money Perch, the PATCs, Florida State Money Perch, gave us an update. We, if you missed the show, you got to go back yesterday and watch it. Gave us an update. Back and forth communication. And we're going to start the monologue with that update. Does not give us an exact figure. Obviously, he wouldn't know. He's not. Nobody in the Money Perch is going to know that. But he did give us an outline of what each year is worth to Florida State. Each year, what it's worth to Florida State to become a member, to be a member of the SEC or the Big Ten versus what they are as a member to the ACC. It is a different number than what Florida State is worth to the ACC. The ACC, you can, if you're an ACC lawyer, a lawyer defending the ACC, you can say, well, every year, the grant of rights, every year, put $40 million attached to it, put another $140 million in exit fee, come up with a number, whatever. In Florida State's own pleadings, they said that basically it would cost Florida State $572 million to get out of the conference. According to Florida State's own interpretation of what the ACC believes what Florida State would have to pay out. But we're talking about the number that is everything for the university. Everything. Not just the difference in media conference payout, but the exposure and everything tied together. Everything. The number The number is, I believe, a little bit different. And you can understand why it is worth it for Florida State to be open to a quick settlement. So we're going to start with that story, more information, and then we're going to go right into the settlement and what does it all mean. Mr. Mountaineer, Michael Monk, thank you so much for your generosity, helping us keep the lights on here at College Football's Peek Around the Corner. Thank you for the wonderful super chat. Thank you so very much. Holy smokes. The moderator, the one who rules with an iron fist. Love your show and your work. Well, you have to. You're my wife. You are my wife. Thank you so much, Michael Monk. I do appreciate it. Do appreciate your generosity. Thank you so very much. Okay, let me start off by saying thanks for everybody who has come on in on a Friday lazy afternoon at the end of this incredible changing week in the college football world. Holy smokes, the third week in May in 2024. Kerry Gold Knowles, James Foster, goes Sun Devils, Bruce Harris, Clemson alumnus, Matt Higgins, Stephen McNeely, Joe Z, DP, the Walking Geek, Jimmy is in the house, Joe is in the house, Daniel Kapcha is in the house, the Georgia Bulldogs. Did you see Mr. Don Scruggs? Maybe I'll pull it up here on the old X account. There was a certain interview. We talked about it a couple months ago. I told you the money purchase of some schools in the SEC and the ACC, a couple ACC schools, talking about this future, 7 years down the road, sometime around 2030, 2031, somewhere around there, the vision, if they can get it done. This is from the money purchase. This is from the ones who sit on a perch, who got a whole lot of loot. This vision of a Southern Hockey Conference. You know what? I'm not going to waste any more time. Let me see if I can find the tweet. Hold on. I put this up here at 12:22 p.m. Central Time. Go take a look at this account. Go hit this. Go to my Twitter. Go to my Twitter account, my X account at Flug Empire. Find this tweet. Find this post. 12:22 p.m. today, May 24th. Listen to this interview. Just go ahead and listen to it. I can't spend any time on it. But if the president of the university, the coach of UGA hockey, I put it out there. Georgia Bulldogs hockey competing at the highest level. In other words, not just Division I HCHA, which is the highest level of club hockey, but we're talking NCAA. We're talking scholarships. We're talking the big enchilada. Georgia Bulldogs hockey competing at the highest level is most definitely a possibility 5 to 7 years down the road. Tennessee State hockey is definitely happening soon. Give it a listen. Southern Hockey Conference during the next decade is taking shape. Just wanted to put that out there. Give it a look. I know nobody in the chat has come on to turn on this live show to listen to me talk about the growing sport of Division I hockey. But the Georgia Bulldogs making noise, and we said a couple months ago, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina State, and then we get the news that North Carolina State is going into Division I in HCHA, the highest club level. Georgia's already there. Again, we gave you the peak a couple months ago. It's going to take a while. But these people are talking. No question about it. If you don't want to take my word for it, that's fine. Go listen to this interview from Georgia's hockey coach. And then come back to me and let me know how the fat guy from Minnesota got it all wrong once again. Okay, what were we doing? Oh, I was saying hi to everybody who's come on in. Man, I get off on a tangent and everything goes pear-shaped. JD Turtle, Mr. Terrapin is in the house. Humble Bumble Duck is here. Randy Taylor is here. MGC Sooner is here. John Dry, Michael Uten, the Texas Tech Red Raider, Laura Weiss is in the house. Crab Cakes and Football, Lee Go Gators B. Hit the like button, please. Yes, and there's one more thing I have to tell everybody about the like button. And I'll get to that in a second. Sean, thank you so much. Mick Stevens, TCU Horned Frogs, NCAA Tennis National Champions. Congratulations once again. And here is Steve, Mr. Bearcat, Cincinnati Bearcat himself. Subscribe and smash the like button. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much for your friendship. I do appreciate it. RT is in the house. Nick Kelso is here. Mr. Ed Wayner, hi from San Marcos, Texas, home of Texas State, and upcoming G5 school with that Go Houston Cougars. Thanks for coming on in, Mr. Ed. Expedition Greg. Florida Canes is in the house. D5 Terps, Mr. Tiger DP is here. Gene Watson, Deadeye. College athletics is not ruined, it's changed. David Hackett is in the house. I hope I'm not missing anybody. Paul Clifton, Nick Flynn, thank you for coming on in at the beginning of the show. Jesse WN, Cloak and Dagger. Maria Hernandez Garcia, Flugar, Vargas Rojas says thank you to Michael Monk for the wonderful, generous super chat. Thank you so very much. Thank you for those kind words, DP. Who else is here? Ryan Willie, the evil badger, is in the house. The Grateful Trojan is in the house. Georgia to the NHL is confirmed. There might be a connection there. Again, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Go listen to the interview. Georgia hockey coach, just listen to the couple things he says. Just listen to it. I'm telling you. I was raked over the coals once again. A couple months ago, I said there is a group that is looking at a Southern Hockey Conference 5 to 7 years from now. There's a lot of steps you got to take in between. North Carolina's building that arena. They're moving up to the HCHA highest club level, playing with North Carolina State, playing with Louisville, playing with Alabama. I don't think Georgia's going to be in the same division, but they're in the same class. Georgia's been there for a while. It's forming. It is absolutely forming. NE is in the house. Derek Marie is in the house. Kenneth Maynard, NC State will definitely succeed at hockey. The Grateful Trojan is here. John Boxleitner is here. The Amazing Blue, Ryan Matson, Tracy FSU, Don in Kansas. Holy smokes. And we're going to end the thank yous and the thank you for coming on in with Mireya Hernandez Garcia Flugar. Let's go Timberwolves. Let's go Timberwolves. Let me also thank Bill G. Holy smokes. Bill G is in the house. And once again, I don't know how many times he has done it, but he has done it more than a dozen times. Bill G has come on in and has gifted 5 memberships to the PATC community. Bill G, thank you so much for your generosity to our channel, helping us grow, helping us keep the lights on. You are hereby knighted, cloak and dagger. Thank you so much, Bill G. Let's look at the 5 who received a gift membership from Bill G. B got one. RT, Mick Stevens, Mr. Hornfrog, Mr. Ed Wayner, and Go Black 45. Please, all of you, when you get a chance, say thank you to Bill G for his incredible, incredible generosity. Once you are a member of our show, you can go to our member-only episodes, Early Peak, Cloak and Dagger. We have delivered 37 of them. We've delivered some Cloak and Dagger information, some breaking news. We have been hot. We have been hot. Thank you, Bill G. Jesse, thank you for becoming an Early Peak Cloak and Dagger member. Thank you so very much. You are hereby knighted, officially knighted, Cloak and Dagger. Thank you so much, Jesse. Thank you so much, Bill G. Thank you so much, Michael Monk. Okay. So, go Huskies. Jesse says go Huskies. Let's talk about an update that we received from our story yesterday. Putting a little bit of water into my Cloak and Dagger mug. So we went back and forth. Went back and forth with the Florida State money perch from our story yesterday. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You're going to have to go back and watch it. We read the letter. He sent us a letter. We had it all checked out, and we were able, for the first time ever, to read a letter on the same day that it was given to us. Now, we've had a lot of people reach out to us. Obviously, we don't know if his settlement's going to get done anytime soon, within the next 3 months. But the Florida State money perch, who's got an incredible track record, talking to people at Florida State, talking to people at Clemson, but we're going to keep it at Florida State for now, believes that Florida State they have received the word that they are open to a settlement. And they might be willing to pay a higher price than I think pretty much 95% of the PATC community would advise them to pay and would expect them to pay. So when we went through this yesterday, I didn't have it. I had the letter, but I didn't have a whole lot of more information. People wanted to know the number. The number that Florida State would be willing to pay. We did not get that answer. Frankly, he does not know. But there is a number out there that is quite interesting. And Kerry Gold knows, thank you so very much. I will get to your incredible generosity, but I don't want to interrupt this story once again because we've got some information. Okay? Kerry Gold Knowles, I want to thank you so very much. And the 20 people who have received your generosity, we will make sure they say thank you to you, and I'll get to you in a second, Kerry Gold Knowles. But I do not want to lose this. I do not want to lose people right now. We have some very interesting information. So when we started the show, we said we did not get the number that this person on the money perch, who's been dead on since December 26, 2022. But he didn't give us a number that Florida State would settle on. Would say, okay, ACC will write it up. But this is the number that is worth it to Florida State to be in the SEC or the Big Ten. He said there wasn't one number for the Big Ten, one number for the SEC. $80 million a year. Let me explain. Because truthfully, as you all know, I'm not the brightest bulb in the fridge. I only know where the fridge is located in any place I enter into. But I'm not very bright, so I had to have this explained to me. That is the difference in crude math, and obviously it can't be completely nailed down. But $80 million is the amount of money that Florida State believes in the next 10 years is the money that is lost to Florida State between what they can get at the complete university level, being in the SEC or the Big Ten, versus what they're getting from the ACC. No, it's not $80 million in media money difference. That's not what this means. It means in totality. It means in everything. The media money, the conference payout money, sure. Sure, that's some of that $80 million. But there's other things associated if you're becoming a member of the SEC. The increase in sponsorship, in stadium signage, in your local radio show, your people coming into your stadium and spending money from Alabama. It's everything. Same with the Big Ten. Maybe a little bit different here, a little bit different there, measuring a little bit different here, a little bit different there. But the crude math is about $80 million. What does that mean? It means that if Kerry Gold Knowles is representing Florida State, if Kerry Gold Knowles is representing Florida State at the negotiation table, this is explained to us by the Florida State Money Perch. If he is willing to go to $220 million, if he's willing to pay $220 million 2 years from now, if he's willing to go $220 million after we've gone through these court cases, the expense of the lawyers, if they can whittle that thing down to $80 million for the exit fee and another $140 million for the gore, whatever, if you think you might have a way to get $220 million, if you think the courts can get it down to $200 million, if you think you can get the leverage to get it down to $220 million in 2026, then you're willing to pay 160 more now. So 160 million plus 220 million is what? 380 million. $80 million difference every single year, and it goes up as time goes on. So it's kind of a crude math. So Florida State is losing, according to the Florida State Money Perch and the people he's talked to and the people they've talked to, and some of them inside the walls of Florida State University, in the next 10 years, Florida State's worth, value as an institution would go up $800 million smackaroonies if they were a member of the SEC or the Big Ten versus staying in the ACC. And the number creeps up. It goes higher than 80 million as the years go on. In other words, there is, from the perspective of the people that the Florida State Money Perch talked to, there is a lot to gain, and that gain keeps growing for Florida State to write the check and get out. They're not going to write an $800 million check. They're not going to write a $700 million check. They're not going to write a $600 million check. They're probably not going to write a $572 million check. But this is the new math that is going on. Oklahoma and Texas, what they had to pay to get out for that 1 year of the gore, the exit fee, that is now smaller potatoes when they first did it. It's less money. It's less. They have gained more value than they expected. More than projected. Becoming a member of the SEC. Florida State is looking at the same thing for them to join the SEC or the Big Ten. This is why. This is why the quick settlement is in play. Now, Florida State's not going to just lay over, right? They're not going to say, hey, we're worth so much more money in the next 10 years if we go. So ACC, what do you want? What do you need? We'll write you. No, that's not what this is. But Florida State is willing and able, private capital and everything else, willing and able to make sure that the ACC gets what they need and the Florida State gets what they want. According to that letter, the value that Florida State would receive in becoming an SEC member in the Big Ten have grown in their estimation over the last, since they filed the amended complaint. The math has changed. The governance structure has changed. The voting power has changed. Fox is putting up Friday night games. Things keep changing. And unfortunately, the value of Florida State within the ACC is not changing. That money is locked in into 2036. So it's not like the ACC can keep increasing what Florida State is worth to them, but what Florida State is worth to the SEC or the Big Ten, the worth of Florida State is climbing. It's climbing. So, in accordance to the Florida State Money Perch and the people you've talked to, logically, the window of a quick settlement has sprung open. Florida State is willing maybe to give a little bit more for the assurance, for the certainty of being able to grab their media rights. They have ownership of them. and then get into first party talks with their options. Because the leverage of Florida State having their own media rights, everybody knowing the date that the Florida State can have their own media rights, the day that they sign the check, the certainty of Florida State and the certainty of the SEC and the Big Ten helps the leveraging of Florida State. Just another reason why there is no offer. There's nothing permanent, nothing in place. There is no standing offer. There's been no application sent in. Yada, 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 yada. So that is just to, I wish we had that yesterday. We didn't. We were, as you know, we were scrambling. We got the letter. We were scrambling because, and I'm going to take the L. I got to take the L. I have been saying that I felt we brought up the scenario, the possibility, we speculated. I always thought this was going to be a long grind, and it still could be, but I never even opened really myself up to the possibility that a quick settlement could happen. In fact, I said no to a lot of people on this show. I'm convinced, you don't have to be, but I know the track record of this gentleman. And for those who've been watching the show for a long time, I mean, he said stuff that was ridiculous and it came true 3 different times. So if he's saying a quick settlement possibility is now open because of what Florida State is to gain keeps increasing, the ability for Florida State to make the deal happen internally is growing. So I got to take the L. I did not think this was a possibility. So PATC is taking the L. Friday, May 21st, officially 4:36 Eastern Time. Now, it hasn't happened. It may not happen, but we're still taking the L because we are completely convinced that there is a possibility of it happening. And I say there wasn't for the last how many months. Now, there has been people who have contacted me who have said, yep, yes, this is true. And then we really haven't gone down the rabbit hole because these are people that I know that are out there that really haven't talked to me in the past. They're just saying yes. They're not even digging for information from me. I just had the ability to say it. We got the okay to say it. So there it is. That's the update. Let me go through the generous super chats, and then we got to get into the settlement. And I'm going to tell you before we get into this article, Picasso Flugar is going to paint you a picture of what I think this is going to look like. Although we might have to scrub the painting a week from now when it all goes pear-shaped. First of all, thank you so much, Carrie Gold Nose, for your incredible generosity. Holy smokes. Gifted 20 memberships to the PATC community. My goodness. Thank you so very much. And I do apologize I did not get to it right away. But I did not want to lose my train of thought. Carrie Gold knows, you know that sometimes the cheese slips off the cracker and I lose my train of thought. Thank you so very much for your incredible generosity. No Nonsense, Richard Ledford, Stephen Clark, Marquis Crenshaw, Flux Flow, Jeffrey Bell, Big Ears Bo, Chris Evans, Larry the GM, Bob Swanger, 4637 Warrior, and Susan. You are all hereby knighted Cloak and Dagger officially. And of course, Carrie Gold knows once again officially granted official status Cloak and Dagger. Congratulations to you all. Thank you so very much. You can go to our YouTube channel and watch the Cloak and Dagger membership only episodes. And we also have episodes open up to everybody. We've done 401 of those since the start of our program. Anyways, thank you so very much. Unbelievable generosity. Carrie Goldnose, thank you very, very much. Tom Watson, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Mr. Tom Watson, one of the best golfers, 5 times U.S. Open champion, Tom Watson. I think it was 5 times. And I think it was the U.S. Open. Maybe it wasn't No, British Open. It was the British Open. Or they call it the Open. I think it was it's the British Open. Tom Watson is 5 times. I don't know. I've already screwed it up. Thank you, Tom Watson, for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Kerry Goldnose. Hope everyone has a wonderful 3-day weekend. Thank you, Mr. Seminole. Kerry Goldnose. Okay. We're going to get to your comments. British, not U.S. Okay. 8 majors, British. Okay, I got it wrong. I screwed that up. Unbelievable. I thought for sure I was going to get something right when I said U.S. Open, but then it hit me. No. Tom Watson was good with the high winds and those crazy bunkers and all that stuff. Tom Watson. Got it. Okay, here we go. So what are we talking about? Ross Dellinger laid out some tweets describing what just happened. A thread on the NCAA's historic 10-year settlement agreement that will pay back damages of $2.8 billion, at least $15 billion in revenue share, and reshape the governance, enforcement, and scholarship structure of the major college athletics. Back damages, how much? $2.776 billion over 10 years. From the NCAA national office, which is about 40%, and the schools, 60%. 15 to 25,000 D1 athletes who played from 2016 to 2020-ish are getting the money. Distribution allocation formula with estimated 90% to P5 football players and men's basketball players. This doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. This allocation formula. What are we talking about here? When I read this, you know what? I threw my phone into the blankets early this morning. I kind of tossed my phone into a hill full of blankets for the bed. I go, what in the heck is there's gonna be some allocation formula determining how much money a football player is gonna get? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make it. I don't even understand what they're talking about. Anyways, how much? 20 to 22 million annually. Fluid. From the schools to the athletes. Distribution, school discretion. Then why is there some allocated formula? Makes no sense to me. Distribution, school discretion. Title IX applies. We're going to get into that. Implementation, the summer and the fall of 2025. Here at College Football's Peak Around the Corner, we are right around the corner of this thing starting. And then the exceptions is the $5 million of the Alston New Scholarship can count toward the cap. So these stipends that the athletic departments are already giving out to some of their student athletes, that can already count against the cap. So really, a lot of these power conference schools need to come up with $17 million, $15 to $17 million more, because they're already spending this Alston money. Cap enforcement, court oversight, audits. There is talk about the courts developing a magistrate. Again, I don't understand any of it. And they're going to be making sure that the money is being spent, student athletes, and it's all done in the correct way. Athlete reporting mechanism of third-party NIL must be true NIL based on developed fair market value data. Well, you're worth what you can get. You're worth what you can get. If the fat guy from Minnesota can go to a restaurant that only produces hamburgers and not cheeseburgers, and they're known for only producing the world's greatest hamburgers, and the fat guy from Minnesota is known as the only person smart enough to understand that burgers are better without the cheese, and if they give me $1 million in NIL, then I'm worth $1 million, right? Fair market value? Who's determining all this? Enforced through NCAA outside entity with court backing, burden on the school and athlete to prove true NIL. So you are guilty until you can find in the courts that you're innocent of taking too much NIL money. No pay for play, booster pay. Holy smokes. Roster change. Eliminates scholarship caps. Implements new roster limits. Ability to provide scholarships to entire roster. Potential football roster reduction to as few as 85 roster spots. Ongoing discussions. Title IX applies. Governance. Potential new Division I subdivision for increased power conference rulemaking. Flexibility for leagues to set some own rules. Revenue share model could be extended beyond 10 years. Plaintiffs agreed to lobby on behalf of the NCAA's effort seeking congressional protections. And then there's been comments from Ted Cruz supporting this. Congressman Laura Taran, excuse me if I said the name incorrectly, Massachusetts, released the following statement on the heels of last night's landmark settlement announcement. Lori has been fairly involved in pushing NIL legislation on Capitol Hill over the last few years. She says this agreement is a massive victory for athletes who create the value in college sports and deserve a share in the multi-billion-dollar revenue they generate. Over the past decade, college athletes have sued for violations of their rights in court, and they've won significant progress, not just for themselves, but athletes everywhere. Here is the PATC money shot of her comment. Rather than asking Congress to turn back the clock, college leaders should take this opportunity to embrace a future where athletes have a seat and a voice at the table when decisions are made about the industry built on their hard work. So what we're getting is some comments from Congress saying, yeah, this is great. And now they need protection. College sports needs protection. Some comments coming out of Congress is this is great. However, we need to take the next step. The student athletes need to be represented. Collective bargaining agreement has to come in place between the representation of the student athletes and the conferences, schools, and whatnot. I'm going to give you my vision of what I think is coming down the chute here. Kenneth Maynard, ECU Pirates, baseball, 5 straight AAC regular season championships, 42-14. Keep grinding for that high national seed. Paint it purple. My goodness. My goodness. Another beautiful season by the Pirates in baseball. Holy smokes. Thank you, Kenneth Maynard, for the super chat. Thank you for that generosity once again. Chris Hughes. Holy smokes. How is the NCAA going to oversee NIL and cap salary? They can't even process the students' eligibility in a timely manner. The NCAA will become a bigger bureaucracy. What a joke. You know, the NCAA has actually been understaffed. The presidents are the ones that staff the NCAA, and they haven't had enough. They have not had enough man or woman power to even do what they're supposed to do right now. Yes, they're going to have to build out an enforcement arm. Some of this is going to be done by a magistrate. I don't understand any of that. Yeah, I've got a lot of questions, Chris Hughes. I've got a lot of questions. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate your generosity once again. Let me tell you what I think is going on. And then we're going to open up the phone lines. Seth Holland has a gripe with me. Let her rip. Let me know in the chat. Cheesesteaks are the worst thing. We'll talk about cheesesteaks later. We'll talk about the Philadelphia sports fan and why they're so grumpy. Why do they boo Santa Claus? Why does the Philadelphia Eagles fly? Why do they boo Santa Claus? Because they eat cheesesteaks. That's why. That's why. Okay. This is my vision. This is what I think it's going to look like. You are, let me get a name here. Joe Z, PATC community. Joe Z is coming out of high school as a mid 3-star linebacker. Joe Z is a mid 3-star linebacker. And he's got an offer from Iowa State. And it's really his best. Iowa State, Northern Iowa, North Dakota State, South Dakota State Jackrabbits. A few more offers, but Iowa State is the one that would give him the most exposure. It's in a power conference. So he meets up, Joe Z meets up with Iowa State. Talks to their linebacker coach, defensive coordinator. Eventually talks to the general manager. And they lay out a letter of intent, a paper that says, Joe, this is what we're going to pay you. This is what we're paying linebackers of your level, at your perceived level. And you got to sign first for 3 years. If you want to get out of this, and if you want to go in the portal, you can give us the money back that we've paid you. There's a buyout clause, just like for our coaches. If you sign this, Joe, you're going to get these 3 years. The money that is on that piece of paper, you're going to get it you're going to get some during part of the year, but you're going to get a balloon payment at the end of the year. In other words, if you're available, you're going to play in that bowl game or that playoff game. This is the money you're going to make. Regardless, this is binding to you. Joe Z, this is what you're getting. However, Joe Z, if you want to sign this 3-year contract with the buyout clause, part of it, you're going to have to sign over your name, image, and likeness to Iowa State's athletic department. This is our offer. Now, Joe Z has he has a decision to make. Is Joe Z going to take this 3 years for whatever amount of money they offer, signing over his NIL rights, knowing that it's guaranteed, knowing that if he, maybe he gets, maybe after his second year, he's second team All Big 12, he's playing early, he's playing great, there's an opportunity for him to get more money. He can go to Iowa State and say, I want more money, or I want to buy out of this last year, whatever. He can sell his name, image, and likeness to Iowa State when he signs that along with his letter of intent. Or Joe Z can say, I'm going to take out, I want to play for Iowa State, but I'm not going to sell you my name, image, and likeness. I want to be paid outside of your internal $22 million salary cap for all your sports. I'm not going to get directly paid by you. I'm going to play for you year in, year out basis, but my money is going to come from outside collectives. Now, Joe Z, being a mid 3-star with Iowa State as his best offer, is probably going to take the Iowa State deal. 80%, 90% of the football players and basketball players, I think, or at least I believe, the athletic directors and everybody else, the commissioners, believe this is how it's going to work. That 80%, 90% of these athletes are going to buy in, sell their name, image, and likeness, sign a contract, be part of the salary cap. But if you're a 5-star, or if you're a 4-star, but a 4-star, there's been a big recruiting battle, I don't think you're going to opt in. I don't think you're going to be part of the salary cap. I think you're going to get paid by an outside collective. Outside collective of Alabama, of Michigan, of Ohio State. But these outside collectives have to really make sure that this person is actually doing something for the money. It's not just pay to play. That's how I envision this happening. Your bigger perceived stars entering into college football, basketball are not going to be opting in. But most athletes are going to be opting in. And then all these athletic departments are going to look completely different from each other, going to be having different decisions being made on how to allocate, distribute that 17, 18, 19, 22 million dollars. But I think for the big recruits for football and basketball, I think they're going to be outside of this world. So that's why I'm looking at it. Tell me how wrong I am. I could be completely wrong. I'm going to open up the phone lines here. Right now, that's all the monologue is going to be for this Friday. The update on the Florida State Money Perch and what I envision this new world of happening. Tracy, FSU, thank you so much for becoming a new member of Peek Around the Corner, Cloak and Dagger. Holy smokes. Tracy, you are hereby officially today, Friday, May 24th, you are hereby knighted Cloak and Dagger. Congratulations and thank you so very much, Tracy, FSU. We're going to open up the phone lines. Let's not waste any more time. Since I got it all wrong once again, anyways, let's open up the phone lines. There is some articles that I just don't, I think we covered it all. This is Pete Knuckles from On3, new baseline compensation. Why revenue sharing makes NIL collectives, sponsorships imperative for competitive advantage. I did provide a link in the description box. You can read the article at your convenience. I also put a link in the description box below the video of Ross Dellinger's article of this morning. NCAA settlement, question and answer. How will schools distribute revenue? What is the future of NIL collectives and more? You can read the whole article at your convenience. Again, the link is in the description box. We also have a Ross Dellinger. The letter from Charlie Baker. He goes through why this was done. I will provide a link in the description box later for you to read. Charlie Baker, pretty long letter. Pretty long. He estimates, Charlie Baker, the president of NCAA, estimates that athletes are expected to receive $1 to $1.5 billion from P4 revenue sharing per year. Okay. So enough of that. Let's get into it. Phone lines are open right now. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Let me know. Talk about anything in college football, what we've covered, or what you want to have covered. Give me a call.
Call from
Immaculate.
Immaculate, Mr. Hot Guy is on the line. The floor is yours.
Hey, Greg, playing leadoff batter here. I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
Just letting you know firsthand, I just recently got home, wasn't able to catch all of this, caught this back end of it. And I was just kind of curious, first off, if you saw the particular tweet from Ross Dellinger about governance. I know I've been harping on that.
If it was early this morning, I did.
Yesterday.
Go ahead. Just let it rip. I probably read it and I probably forgot it, or I read it and I didn't understand it. So I'm going to need your help. Anyways, let it rip. What did he say?
All right. Well, I am sending it to you, but I can also read it off.
Okay.
Here, I've sent it to you. Now, on that one, this is the one stuff that I was really looking forward to. I mean, all of this is huge, obviously, big, huge numbers, lots of money, still ongoing. You know, Congress going to be part of this. But this gets into the part where they're figuring out who's going to be in charge of what in the future. And, you know, the first bullet point is potential new D1 subdivision for increased power conference rulemaking.
Yes, sir. Yep.
You know, I was a little surprised by the new subdivision part, but the rest of that sounds just like the autonomous conferences. Fully expected. You know, we're talking about rulemaking by the power conferences in their own subdivision. Now, to me, I don't know what you think, but that seems like maybe a veiled threat to the G5 to maybe approve this for them to, you know, the autonomous conferences to be in charge of the FBS, or we're just going to be our own subdivision away from you, because it says right there, power conferences.
Yep. I agree with you. And of course, in the new governance, it's really the Big Ten and the SEC that have the votes combined if they agree on a subject. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the autonomous conferences, it's the way it works. Which the Big 12 and ACC are still full members.
Yep.
It's 3 votes per conference and then 1 vote per school. So technically, the larger conferences have a little bit more power, but you know, that's technicality on that. I just thought by forming a subdivision instead of just taking over FBS, they're basically threatening to leave the G5 behind, and then that goes into all the talks about the G5 having their own tournament, which I was always pulling on. Like, that's no way.
Yeah.
If this happens, that's the threat. Is like you become, you know, FCS 2.0.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a little shocking.
Yeah, interesting. Yes.
And then the flexibility. It says this is going to trigger some people. Flexibility for leagues to set some own rules. I think he means conferences, but you know, terminology matters.
Yes.
Yeah. Are we talking conferences or are we talking anyways?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But that's some of the ideas, like in terms of how much they're paying out. They set their own rules, and that's what I've been talking about in terms of private conferences. Might find that in this new future, private schools may want to have their own conference where they at least control the majority of the votes to set their own rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then the final one there, the rev share model for the amount of time, that's whatever. We'll see about that. But the plaintiffs agreed to lobby on behalf of the NCAA's efforts seeking congressional protections.
Yes.
People might read that on their own and go, okay, what's that mean? That means there is going to be no counter lobby to these efforts in Congress, at least not from these people. So in terms of what Congress is going to see, all parts to this are all in agreement. There's no potential backfire to them from the parties involved if they were to codify this. And people say, why would Congress do that? Well, I've probably counted, I couldn't even count the number with fingers on both hands, number of times I've seen the word bankruptcy used. That if we don't get this, we may have to file for bankruptcy. To me, major state institutions, that sounds like too big to fail all over again.
Yeah.
And Congress does not want to deal with that. So if all they have to do is codify this when everyone involved in it is for it, I don't know. It seems kind of easy to me. So to me, of all that happens, and there's a lot, that tweet right there and the information in it to me was the most important. So I just wanted to share that with you and get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think all that is very important. I also have to take an L, another L, second one of today, on I was always under the impression that this, how do I say it? That the salary cap, or whatever we're going to call this, it was going to be per conference. Like, actually what I read, I don't know if it was this morning or last night, but this $21 to $22 million, this is based on 69 schools, athletic departments. 69 of them.
So it's like an average?
Yes. So
okay.
This, yeah. So in other words, this benefits Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, because back and forth with the plaintiffs, getting the percentage of how much for media ticket sales, media money, ticket sales, whatever. They did all 69 schools, and they will continue to do that going forward when this number fluctuates and when it creeps upwards, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this is, again, it benefits the big time athletic departments, because it's not based upon what Ohio State makes. It's the average of the 69 schools, and of course, you're going to have outside collectives still working some stuff here, but. So I didn't think, eventually what I thought was going to happen, and it still might happen. We still might get in this world of collective bargaining if Congress doesn't step in, and then you're going to have representation of the student athletes. And are they going to be collective bargaining with an entity that represents 69 schools, or it's going to be per conference? I always thought this was going to be per conference, but it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, that may not be fully figured out yet at this point in time, because just based on what we just looked at there, it kind of still sounds like they're going to have some ability to make their own rules. It's just I don't know where the limitations are going to be. I would think at this point in time they're not going to want to do this all over again, so they're going to push for as full or near full governance as they possibly can. This is the second time they've had to do this now. First with the autonomous conferences creation, and now this. Yeah, pain in the ass. But that's interesting. I would say devil's advocate on that. While yes, that some of those on the bottom might look at that and go, "Oh, this sucks," they also might look at this and say this also reins in the Alabamas, the Ohio States from just shooting it to the roof, right? Because yes, it might be above where some of those at the bottom want to go, but it's probably also going to be below where those at the top would be willing to go in order to have an advantage. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that plays out. That's a good point. I don't know on that. There's still a lot to play out here. But if I could, just one more thing before I get off, and I'm sure you're going to get hammered with calls here. Grateful Trojan actually asked me a question in chat, and we were talking about the NLRB situation with USC, about where I thought that was going to go. And I think that is now, if you're on that NLRB board and you see this going on and it's likely going to Congress, would you want to make a ruling that's possibly just going to be smacked down by Congress here? Yeah. Possibly in the future?
It could be voided, yes.
Yeah, I think the deal on Dartmouth has already been done. I don't think they're going to want to revisit it. So that appeal is probably going to be stamped denied. Yeah. And they just got pressured again by the union today. So that situation's ramping up. But yeah, I think that they're going to say to USC, we cannot say that these students have to be made employees when it's possible that everyone else in the public side now on Congress is not going to be made employees. So I think for now, I think you're right. I think that they're just going to at least say no for now, and it can be revisited in the future when we know more. But I think USC is in the clear. That's my kind of thoughts on that. And once that happens, private schools know what to do. So
yeah, Yeah.
That should be interesting.
All right, man.
Anyways, man, appreciate
Oh.
it. Good talking to you.
Oh, wait.
What's that?
Wait. Can you hold on another moment, please?
Oh, do you got breaking news?
No, I just wanted to post this college football alerts payout structure. EA Sports is paying schools for college football 25, the game, based on a tier system using AP poll finishes from the past 10 years. So they've got tier 1, $99,875.16 for a school. Tier 2, $59,925.09. Tier 3, $39,950.06. And Tier 4, $9,987.52 to use their content, right?
It sounds like a lot. That's kind of chump change.
Okay, sure. But did you see the tiers? Have you seen this?
No, I have not.
Well, look where Iowa's at.
Oh,
Iowa is in the first tier.
Of course they are.
Alabama, they're the last ones on the tier. Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Oregon, Oklahoma State, Penn State,
Oklahoma State was a problem.
Utah, Iowa. Holy smokes.
But that people don't realize it, but Iowa's always having good records. Like, if you're just going by records, they've done pretty so.
Yeah, so is Gundy with Tier 2, whole bunch of schools. My Gophers are in Tier 3, and the Nebraska Cornhuskers are Tier 4. So anyways, I just want to show that. But
that was worth the Nebraska show alone.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming on in.
Absolutely, yeah. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Call from
BJ.
BJ, can you just hang on for one moment,
press
please?
1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Whoops. BJ, you there? BJ. BJ. I lost BJ. Give me a call back, BJ. Something happened there. Ryan Willie, thank you so much for your super chat. I do appreciate it. I see more and more dirty boosters getting involved with the players. Thank you, Eva Badger, for your generosity. Look, there's still going to be outside collectives. There's supposed to be an enforcement arm looking on top of them. We'll see what happens. I don't know how all that's going to play out. I really don't. But there's still going to be outside collectives. No question about it. Jacobra Cat, if ESPN reduces...
Call from
BJ.
BJ, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I do apologize for that. Can you give me a moment, please?
Oh, no problem.
Thank you so much. Jacobra Cat, thank you so much for your super chat. If ESPN reduces Florida State exit fee to keep the Big Ten out of Tallahassee, ACC and SEC priorities at odds, likewise, some gray aid humans to usurp the reptilians. Wow, that is very deep. Very, very deep. ESPN isn't in the one in control of reducing ACC's exit fee. But I understand what you're saying, and oddly enough, I even understand what you're saying when it comes to the Greys and the reptilians, because it looks like I'm as crazy as you are. Jacober Cat, thank you so much for your super chat. Thank you so much for your generosity. The Evil Badger. I watched the Monty Show replay, and he's convinced that the Super League will happen in 2 years. The loaded nachos at the AmFam field are really good. Beef and brat loaded nachos. I don't even understand this. Why would a Super League? Why would ESPN? I don't get it. These conferences are not going. Big Ten is not going away. The SEC is not going away. There's not going to be a Super League. There's just not going to be a Super League. Not in 2 years. Maybe in 20, Monty. Maybe in 20, but not in 2 years. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan Willie. The food at Wisconsin in Campbell Stadium or AmFam Field. Look, the food in Wisconsin's real good as long as you don't put cheese on meat. Do you put cheese on bratwurst in Wisconsin? Of course not. Of course not. If you did that in Wisconsin, they'd look at you like, so why are you putting on some good beef? Why are you putting on a good hamburger? All right. Thank you so much, Ryan Willie, the Evil Badger. Thank you once again for your generosity. BJ, thank you for your patience. The floor is yours.
Oh, no worries, Greg. Again, thanks for having me, allowing me to call in. I think what Immaculate said was pretty interesting in terms of the governance structure. And whenever I see any college NCAA or Power 2 type feed that comes across my phone, I just think the house always wins. So whatever the rules are going to be, they're going to favor the Big Two. That's just how I look at things. But I called in just to make a comment, and I think when the dust settles, it looks like if you just follow the money, to me at least, that Fox and ESPN just the $20, $21, $22 million that was set aside for this the funds that have to be paid, isn't that just new money from their new deals? Like each conference went up like $20 million per team, correct?
Yeah. Yes. Well, with the playoff money and then the new media deals, of course, it's more than $20 million. But yes.
Yeah.
But maybe they could have allocated that money to somewhere else. But it's going to student athletes now. Right?
Yeah. So my point was, from the Power 2's perspective, it's a little easier to take because you're going to have an influx of money coming in anyway.
Sure.
Whereas from the ACC and the Big 12's perspective, that is a little tougher pill to swallow because I don't think they're going to have, in excess of $30-40 million just coming to them because their deals are kind of set in stone. At least the ACC's deal is set in stone. And I think the Big 12's deal is for, set in stone for another 6-7 years. But we shall see. And lastly is that tier ranking that you put up made no sense to me.
What was that?
The tier ranking that you put up about there was about 20 teams that were ill-placed. I don't know how they came up with the rankings.
It was based upon, let me see if I can find it here. For some reason now I can't find it again. Hold on. It was based upon polls for the last 10 years.
Oh, like CFP polls?
Yeah, I got it up on the screen now. It is based on final finish in the last 10 AP football polls, 2014 and 2023.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I guess. I think okay. I guess that makes sense. But seeing, no offense against Iowa, Iowa wins. You know, Iowa and Penn State to me are kind of similar. They're going to win, you know, between 9 or 8 to 10 games every year.
Yeah.
But they're not really a threat. You know, no offense to them.
Yeah.
But
well,
but anyway.
Yep. That's how they did it.
But thanks for having me on. And once again, Greg, you have a blessed day.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for the phone call. Cameron B, Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk, the NFL may start broadcasts on Saturdays. They definitely are. They've always have. And the CFP may struggle as it loses amateur status because of professionalism with paying athletes. Embargo will die. Now, the NFL they've always started broadcasts on Saturdays the last couple weeks of the regular season. But the NFL is starting to try to push the NBA out of the Christmas Day space that used to be occupied by the NBA. The NBA would have 5 NBA games back to back to back to back. The NFL is encroaching on college football space.
Call from
Name is Gary from Nebraska.
to accept.
Gary, can you hold on for 1 second?
Sure.
I do appreciate it. So
No problem.
Cameron B, I do appreciate you super chat. I appreciate your generosity once again. I thought I'd miss one here, but I guess I did not. So thank you all for your incredible contributions, helping us keep the lights on, for us to be able to do these live shows day in and day out. Thank you so much. Mr. Cornhusker Gary is on the line. The floor is yours.
Yeah, to me, I have listened to your shows, other ones, and this is all this stuff they're doing. To me, is the death of college football. Now, this is not college football, what we grew up with.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
So what I'm saying is, let's let college football have its time like the dinosaurs. Let it die. Okay, just let it die. Let it die in peace. And what we do is take top 50, 60 teams and let Yormick run part of it, half of it. Let Petiti run the other half of it, and let Sankey run the whole thing. And everybody, and all the ESPN and Fox and streaming and all this other ritual, whatever they come up with in the future, take it and divide it. If there's 60 teams, then divide it equally, just like the. Let's run this just like the NFL and let college ball die. And as far as the kids goes, if they get paid, then they are no longer a college student, and they no longer get a free education. They have to pay, just like if they were in pro football and wanted to come back. It's time to they want to play this game, then let college football die in peace.
Okay, what about so you're saying let's go straight to the NFL model.
Straight to it. Forget it.
What about a draft out of the high school class?
No, no, because no. Let the money, put a certain amount of money, every team have a certain amount of money cap. No excuse, nothing, nobody passes it. And you can have your 85 players, no walk-ons. You get 85 scholarships in football, whatever we agree on. Nobody passes it. And if you want to pay $10 million a year for a quarterback, that's up to you. You want to pay $5 for a water boy, that's up to you. I'm just simply saying that's your money cap for players. Then you got a money cap for coaches. And just go right. Forget it. Let's everybody quit fighting over this money game. College ball, as we know it, is dead. Let it die in peace.
Yeah, there are a couple things. One is you are correct. College football, as we've known it, as you and I have grown up to watch it, is dead.
Right.
But they've got to kill it and create it.
Right. They gotta get rid of the Big Ten name. They gotta get rid of the SEC name.
Okay.
They gotta get rid of the Big 12 name. Make two conferences names that would fit the ball, and then call it one major name. And like I said, let Sankey Reed run the whole thing. Let Yormick prove that he can do one half. Petiti can prove he can do the other half. The guy at the ACC, if you throw him out in the river, he ain't no good anyway. So I'm just simply saying.
So you're looking for a Super League model.
We're going to do it anyway. Why not get it over with and all this fighting and all these court cases? Let's get it over with.
All right. As long as you can, whatever we create has to protect itself from the courts. So,
right.
Yep.
Let's get it over with. Let's get it done, and let's take. If we're going to make kids employees, they're not students. You can't have both.
All right.
Okay, you have a good day.
You got it. Thank you, Gary. Gary, Mr.
Okay.
Cornhusker, appreciate it, man.
Bye.
Bye. Gary coming in strong. Let's get it all done. Let's get it. No more conferences. Let's just get it all done. Don't think the Big Ten's going to buy. Big Ten's not going to go for it. The SEC's not going to go for it. But I get it. People are sick and tired of the fighting and trying to do end arounds, the court system. I get it. Jay Chapman, it's at this point, why don't they partner with the NFL and make an official-minded football league? Now, I asked Gary this question, I'll ask Jay, and I'll ask everybody. Anytime someone says, let's just make it exactly like how the NFL is, my next question is always, okay, is there going to be a draft like there is in the NFL? Well, there can't be a draft like the NFL because you can't stop a student from going to a university that they want to go to. So it's not the NFL, but it's not amateurism either. It's something in between. It is still connected to the universities. At this point, it still is. So you can't quite treat it like a minor leagues of the NFL. And that's, and a lot of people are asking for the carve-out protection against antitrust issues. But it can't be exactly like the NFL. It can't be a minor league of the NFL because you can't have a draft. Look, you can have drafts in the NFL and everything. All that has been collective bargain. All the salary of the players when they come in, all of that has been collective bargain between representatives and of the league and the representation of the players. If a guy wants to go play at Purdue University, if he wants to go to school at Purdue University and he's a football player, if Illinois drafts him, he's going to take it to court and say, wait a second, I want to get my engineering degree at Purdue. I'm going to try to be the left tackle, but I'm also going to be an engineer. This is what I'm going to go for my life, my engineer. So it can't quite be the NFL, in my opinion.
Call from
Crab cakes and football.
Mr. Terrapin, crab cakes and football. Thanks for calling. The floor is yours.
I'm a little confused on something. and it's probably just me because I'm a little tired right now.
Yeah.
But if you remember the scenario you gave where, the linebacker mid 3-star comes in and he's got the choice to make either to sign the paper giving away his name, image, and likeness, and he'll be available for the money that come as part of the agreement, or he says no, and then he goes and signs with Adidas or something or some car place or whatever.
He'll get collective money from a collective of a school, because there's still going to be outside collectives.
Because I was like, I'm trying to think of like a situation where like a 4 or 5-star quarterback is coming in for name school here, and they give him, hey, we want your name, image, and likeness. Most likely, because it's the way it is this day and age, they're going to say no. So they're going to take themselves out of that equation and put themselves. So at first I was just confused on what you were saying, but you kind of just.
Well, I don't look. I could be Look, I could be completely wrong. All I'm saying is these big time football players. I'm talking, let's say the top quarterback in the high school class. They're going to be making more, they're going to be eventually they're going to be, I don't know, making a couple million. I could be wrong. We'll see how it works out. But I see some of these players, they're going to get an offer. All these athletic departments are going to have a salary cap, right? And the football program is going to be the majority of that salary cap. And when you've got, let's say, in Alabama, who's having these high recruiting battles, and they're filling up the salary, and it fills up pretty quick. And here's this quarterback. I just think that they're going to be able to offer a quarterback a certain amount of money, and the quarterback is going to get an offer from an outside collective that's going to be more. And so then the quarterback's not going to give their name, image, and likeness to the university collective. And they're going to keep their own image and like. I think that's what's going to happen. Maybe I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, because now I'm just wondering. College isn't about learning or education anymore for them. It's just about getting onto a sports team and making it a collective and making $1 million bucks. And they'll be set for life.
But for most of them, it is about. There are a bunch of students that are making decisions based upon education, and most of them aren't going to go to the NFL, and most of them are going to be getting offers within. This is just my opinion, within the NIL ownership of the athletic department, and they're going to be looking at a $55,000 offer from one school and a $47,000 offer from another school, and they're going to see which one. Most of these players are going to be in that world, but I'm just saying the top ones. Are they going to fit into a team's $22 million salary cap? I don't know. We shall see. To me, it reminds me more of the MLS salary cap, where there's a salary cap for 95% of your player, but then you're going to have some designated guys out there that are going to get more money, and they don't count towards the cap. To me, this is what this is. You're going to have most of your players fit in a cap, but for the big-time programs, you're going to have a couple of guys who are going to get their money from an outside collective, go to your school, but not sign on the dotted line to your internal NIL. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I could be wrong, man. I could be wrong.
Like I said, this is all speculation at the moment because this is playing out in real time. What about walk-ons? I heard that they might be ending the walk-ons. Did that ever?
Yeah, it looks like the walk-ons, even from the latest reporting, I don't think it's official yet. I think the walk-ons could be eliminated.
Well, that sucks because I really liked it when a coach goes out of their way to recognize somebody that walked onto a team,
Yep.
busted their putt, and everything
Yep.
else. They get this amazing scholarship, and they could tell mom and dad. And,
Yep.
but now all of a sudden that's gone. I mean, they're messing everything up, man.
But on the other hand, if the roster's limitation is only 85 per school, I'm going to be blunt here. It is a positive for 90% of the fan bases, 90% of the football programs, because there's a trickling down effect, trickle down economics, whatever you want to call it. Alabama won't be able to hoard the players. Georgia won't be able to hoard the players. Ohio State won't be able to hoard. If it's an 85-person man limit in the football rosters with no walk-ons, 85. So all that money that Alabama has, it's still going to be 85. In other words, the players that are available to the G5 schools right now are going to be available to the G5 schools 5 years from now, and it doesn't matter that Alabama has a $22 million salary cap and a whole bunch more collective money. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's only so many players, there's only so many spots on these rosters. You're still going to get the same level of player at Louisiana Tech, at Boise State, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, man. Well, you answered all my questions. I mean, I could take this out other rabbit holes, but I got other days I can call back. So, all right. Thanks for answering my questions. I'm out of here.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you. Out of it. Maybe I'm being too optimistic at that part, but there's a law of diminishing returns when it comes to recruitment. There's only so many guns you can get. Alabama, Ohio State, USC, Oregon, right? The top of the Big 12. Whoever's going to get on the top of the Big 12. I don't even know who that's going to be. Utah, maybe a Kansas State, maybe whatever. I mean, there's only so many spots. There's only so much money. So let me look here. Again, I'm going to show everybody the tiers. The tiers of the EA Sports College Football. It's not much money. It's not much money. I mean, relative speaking, each Tier 1 school gets about $100,000 from EA Sports. Each Tier 2 school gets about $60,000. $40,000 for the Tier 3 and $10,000 for the Tier 4. Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Oregon, Oklahoma State, Penn State, Utah, Iowa. You all get $100,000 from EA Sports for your content, right? For your stadium design, the stadium name, your colors, your fight song. It's all going to be part of the game, and you're getting all that money. Here's Tier 2, USC, Florida State, Texas. Tier 3, Tier 4. Okay, I just got something here. Let me take a look at it. Let me take a look at something here. I'm going to close down the phone lines for a moment. Okay, we got a Dennis Dodd article, CBS Sports, talking about how private equity to infiltrate college football as landscape evolves. I'm going to go ahead and post it here. Cardinal Redbird Capital founder Jerry Cardinal and CEO when asked hypothetically from a New York Times reporter how much Michigan football would be worth as an investment by his company, Cardinal said, I'd say Michigan would be worth at least $1 billion. The cost of competing are going up. You got to spend if you want to win. They're not going to be able to do it with just donors. Bringing in third-party capital it's not crazy. It's a very rational thing. This gets back to what we're being told about Florida State. About a quick settlement now is open. That Florida State is willing to pay the piper. Because they want to get on the track of competing at the highest level. They want to get they believe their worth is going to grow exponentially within the SEC of the Big Ten versus the cost of getting out of the ACC. Big picture. Such a union, I'm going to put it up on the screen. Big picture, such a union would all but formalize the long discussed FBS breakaway between the Power Four and everyone else. That $2.8 billion settlement figure makes it so. It's understood that a new infusion of cash must be brought in to support the ever-developing professionalization of what used to be amateur sports. What might as well be called College Sports Incorporated is ready for its debut, with its number one offering being football. College sports is basically being consolidated. In the wake of a settlement, we will live with players being paid for their services because we've already lived a version of it for years. We're accustomed to it. We've already seen quarterback Shedeur Sanders basically drive his Bentley to work. But if Michigan is worth $1 billion, what is the going rate for Texas, Ohio State, Point is, the door is open for investment in those top brands. The big money seems ready to pounce. Private equity will be involved because how could it not? Schools will need money to finance staying at the top level of competition. Florida State has already been loading up a war chest to buy its way out of the ACC, and other schools in the league may follow. Again, this is getting back to our breaking news yesterday. There is we're having, again, the implications to all of this, to paying student athletes directly from the university, I can't even get my arms around it. I've told you guys that. I know this is college football's peak around the corner. We've given you this peak 2 years ago when we started the show. We said the student athletes were going to get higher and higher compensation. It's the straw that is stirring the drink. But these are big waves. Even too big a waves for the fat guy from Minnesota to float. I am sinking to the bottom of the ocean, trying to figure out what's going on. But again, in this article, Florida State has already been loaded up a war chest to buy its way out of the ACC. Let me say it to you bluntly. I'm going to take this off the screen for a moment. I'm going to take this off the screen for a moment. Florida State, I'm going to get some pushback on it, and that's fine. Not maybe from you all, but Florida State, they're not going to nickel and dime this. They're not going to fight for that extra leverage. It's too much money. It's too much worth. Florida State has too much value. And the value that they're going to get jumping to the SEC, the Big Ten, is now too great. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? It is too much now. It's too much. The economics has changed. Florida State's going to write a check. This is coming from Florida State Money Perch. But again, you're reading it in this report. Of course Florida State's not going to lay over and just sign whatever. But they're not going to nickel and dime this. Those days are over. If Florida State writes a $300 million check, I think people better hold back and say, oh, $300 million, that was too much. I think people gotta rein that in. Back to this article here. Back to the article. Private equity will be involved because how could it not? Schools will need money to finance staying at the top level of competition. Florida State has already been loading up a war chest to buy its way out of the ACC, and other schools in the league may follow. They're not building up their war chest to fight over $10 million, $20 million, $30 million. They're loading up the war chest to get out. No one really knows, as quick as possible, no one really knows what that $1 billion would bring to athletic department. Cardinal stressed such a firm would not want or need a hand in the day-to-day operation of the athletic department. This is literally investing in an undervalued property. I'm telling you, man, that money is coming in. That money is coming in. That money is coming in. As part of the settlement, Power 5 schools will be on the hook for an average of $22 million for the next 10 years. Funding of expanded rosters, more scholarships. The figure could go up to $30 million annually. The likes of Cardinal and Redbird Capital are waiting in the wings. It was reported this week that Cardinal's new business, College Athletic Solutions, plan to invest $50 million to $200 million in 5 to 10 athletic departments. That's the best evidence to date of a formal breakaway between the haves and have-nots, a move that has been speculated for years. Now we're seeing it in practice, if not on paper. Forget about leaving the NCAA, an organization that will never be what it once was. In this new climate, schools may oversee enforcement themselves. As the NCAA's power diminishes, it is becoming a heck of a party planner for the NCAA each March. There's really nothing necessarily wrong with that. Schools will operate within the NCAA only if they choose, but the revenue in this new investment will define the real membership. Those firms won't be necessarily buying a stake in power schools. They will be buying a brand. They're not going to be buying ownership. They're going to be buying a brand. Redbird Capital and Weatherford will want a return on their money. 10%, 12% seems likely based on the business, but it's more about the ground being broken with third parties now becoming investors in the landscape. Think of what owning a part of Texas, Michigan, Ohio State will look on portfolios of those firm investors. New for one thing because it's never been done. Profitable for another, or else the firms wouldn't be getting involved. I'm watching what's happening here, Cardinal said in December. One of the questions you should be asking everybody is this the beginning of the end of the conferences? How about one big college conference with 68 Power 4 teams? Why not start with that? Why don't you put them all together? If you went to all the media distributors and said, okay, we're bringing all 68 and divvying up this program, I believe as some of the parts that are better than greater than the whole, you get a better result. The NFL has done that. Cardinal made those comments before the CFP contract was finalized. It doesn't seem like the conferences will want to dissolve into one big NFL-like unit anytime soon. But the House settlement created a sped-up timeline for private equity to get involved anyway. The new money is going to have to come from somewhere. State subsidies, loans, booster involvement, and reallocation of university funds could all help. But $30 million is $30 million. As part of the settlement, it seems schools that want to compete at the absolute top level will have to expand football scholarships, for example, to at least 100 per year. We're hearing the opposite. I don't know. Some of this is kind of shaky, this article. It's only a matter of time before a central player representative emerges. Anyways, that's the article. I don't know about all of that. Would Michigan really want to bring in private capital? Beginning of the end of conferences? I don't think so. But we'll see. I don't think so. I think a lot of that is pie in the sky, but we'll find out. The evil badger, Ryan Willie, I want some of what he's been smoking. Thank you, Ryan Willie. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Ryan Willie, why do you take the elbowing to a personal level? I try to keep a fun rivalry. I think I'll leave YouTube because of your... Okay, hold on, guys. Just relax on the elbowing. Thank you for the super chat. Tough Tony, Evil Badger, don't get personal. Just leave it with the Gopher and the Badgers rivalry. You do not have to get personal. Yeah, I don't know. Some of that was, I don't know. I do not know about that, but we shall see. Again, I want to thank you all for joining us. If you're new to the channel or if you haven't done so yet, please hit the subscribe button and open up your notifications. Turn on those notifications. We can come on at live at any time. We can come in the morning. We can come in at lunchtime, in the afternoon like today. We can come on again late tonight. We follow where the story goes, where the story takes us. We give you a little bit of cloak and dagger information. I'm telling you, the idea of a quick settlement with Florida State and the ACC needs to be taken seriously. I cannot believe I'm saying this. It's true. There's too much to gain for Florida State. There is too much money on the table for the next 10 years waiting for Florida State, not just in media money, but in a whole bunch of overall value for Florida State. Keep an eye on that news. We're going to keep following it here at Peek Around the Corner. I want to thank the incredible generosity of everybody that donated to our show today. Holy smokes. Michael Monk, Bill G, Jesse, Kerry Gold Nose, Tom Watson, Kenneth Maynard, Chris Hughes, again, Ryan Willie, Jacobra Cat, Cameron B, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk. Thank you all for contributing, donating, helping us keep the lights on. Thank you so very much. Thank you for the wonderful comments in the comments section. Wow. And the phone calls have been absolutely fantastic once again. We've already been on the air for 2 hours. I think we're going to close this up. I think I got a feeling that we're going to be going live again this weekend. Probably Saturday night. Saturday night is all right for PATC. There is so much going on. There's so many there's a lot of chatter behind the curtain. I was able to give you some of it yesterday, a lot of it yesterday. But there is some more percolating. We keep poking and prodding here at Peek Around the Corner, and we're going to give you the next wave of information when we get the permission to do so. So please stick with us here at College Football Peek Around the Corner. Make sure you subscribe, open up your notifications, buckle up, brace for impact, keep your head on a swivel. Until next time, from all of us at College Football's Peek Around the Corner to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.